In the following video, I will show you the solutions to the AQA Unit 2 GCSE Higher Practice Paper 2. Okay, question 1. Use X to represent my age in years. So X is my age. My brother is 5 years older than me, so my brother must be X plus 5. The sum of our ages is 111. Write an equation using the information. So my age plus my brother's age must equal 111. Tidying that up, 2x plus 5 must equal 111. 2x plus 5 equals 111. Work out my age. Remember, my age is x. So really this is solve for x. You've got 2x plus 5 equals 111. So subtract 5 off both sides, you get 2x is equal to 106. So divide both sides by 2 and you get x must equal 53. X is 53. Okay, just check your answer. If I'm 53 and my brother's 5 years older and 58, does 53 and 58 add to 111? It does. Question 2. W, X and Y are three positive integers. That means they are bigger than 0 and they are whole numbers. Integer means whole number. W is 20% of Y. So W is 20% as a fraction is a fifth of Y. X is a sixth of Y. And Y is a number less than 100. What values could Y take? Now, given that X, Y and Z are whole numbers, for W to be whole, Y must be divisible by 5. For X to be whole, Y must be divisible by 6. So you're looking for numbers that are you're looking for numbers Y less than 100, which are divisible by 5 and 6. So really you're looking for the common multiples of 5 and 6. A number divisible by 5 ends in 0 or 5. Now anything that ends in 5 can't be divisible by 6, so it's none of those. Is it 10? No, not divisible by 6. 20? No. 30? Yes, divisible by 5 and 6. 40? No. 50? No. 60? Yes. 70? No. 80? No. 90? Yes. There are three possibilities for Y. 30, 60 and 90. All are less than 100 and they are divisible by 5 and 6. Question 3a. Solve the following. Start off by expanding the brackets. 4x plus 20 equals 28. Subtract 20 from both sides to get 4x is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 4 and you get x is equal to 2. Check your answers right. 2 plus 5 is 7. 4 times 7 is 28, definitely. Factorise y squared plus 8y. What divides into y squared and 8y? Well, a y does. Y squared divided by y is y. 8y divided by y is plus 8. Your answer is y, brackets y plus 8. Very simple. Question 4. This is a distance time graph. Before I look at the questions, I always just take a second to understand the graph myself. Now, the y-axis is kilometers and each big square is 1 kilometer. The x-axis is time in minutes and each big square is worth 5 minutes. They start off at time 0. They travel a distance of 6 kilometers to B and it takes them 10 minutes. Then they stop at B for 5 minutes and then they come back and they drive back between 15 and 25 minutes, another 10 minutes, and they stop off 3 kilometers away from where they started. Another stop here for about 10 minutes, then they start off again and they drive for, it looks like, another 20 minutes until they're 9 kilometers from where they started, and then they stop there. Okay, let's have a look at the questions. A taxi waits 10 minutes at the railway station. How far is the railway from the depot? So, looking back here, where does the taxi wait for 10 minutes? Well, it waits between 10 and 15 there. It stopped. That's not the right one. It waits between 25 and 30 there. That's 10 minutes. That's when the taxi is stopped. So it must be 3 kilometers away. So the answer here must be 3 kilometers. On which of the 3 journeys was the taxi travelling at the fastest speed? On a distance time graph, the gradient tells you the speed. Where is the gradient the steepest? Here, here, or here? Just by looking at it, you can really tell that it's steepest here. So between A and B is where it's fastest. So in which of the 3 journeys, you can say between A and B. 1 kilometre is 1,000 metres. A journey costs £2.50 for the first 600 metres and 20p for each extra 200 metres. How much does it cost from A to B? Well, let's have a look. A to B is 6 kilometres. So A to B is 6 kilometres, which we know is 6,000 metres. The journey costs £2.50 for the first 600. So for the first 600, it costs £2.50, and therefore for the remaining 5,400 metres, it's 20p for every 200 metres. Now, how many 200 metres in 5,400? A little side working here will tell you that there are 27 200s in 5,400, and for each one it's 20p. So you're working out 20p times 27, and for that you get £5.40. So adding them together, you get a total of £7.90. Do write your pounds in here, your unit. That's how much the taxi costs between A and B. Okay, question 4C. A passenger travelling A to B decides to add a tip of 10% to the fare. He then rounds the total amount up to the nearest whole pound. How much does he pay altogether? Well, we said it was £7.90 to start with. 10% of £7.90 is 79p. So add £7.90 plus 79p, and you get £8.69. And if you round that up to the nearest pound, that rounds up to £9. Very good. Okay, next question. You are given that a ton is 1,000 kilograms and a kilogram is 1,000 grams. A skip contains half a ton of newspapers when full. Each newspaper weighs 200 grams. How many newspaper would fill the skip? Okay, so you've got 0.5 tons. Every ton is 1,000 kilograms, so that's equal, therefore, to 500 kilograms. And each kilogram is 1,000 grams, so that must be 500,000 grams. Now, each newspaper weighs 200 grams, so to work out the number of newspapers, you divide the total weight of the skip divided by each weight of a newspaper, which is 200 grams. You can cancel zeros here. 5,000 divided by 2, that equals 2,500 newspapers. So the answer is 2,500. Okay, next question. Simple indice question. X to the 4 times x to the 4 is x to the 4 plus 4, which is 8. X to the 8. X to the 4 divided by x to the 4 is x to the 4 minus 4, which is x to the 0. But anything to the 0 is 1. It's very important you don't write x to the 0 there. You write the numerical answer of 1. Question 7. A car costs £8,000. Anne and Ben share the costs in the ratio 2 to 3. So the ratio of Anne to Ben is 2 to 3. Anne has saved £150 each month for the last 2 years. Can she pay all her share using her savings? Let's work out Anne's savings. So Anne, she has saved £150 a month every year, every month, so times 12 for 1 year, and then times 2 for 2 years. Okay, let's have a go at working this out. If I want to work out 150 times 12, I can do 150 times 10 plus 150 times 2, which is 1,500 plus 300, which is 1,800, and then double it for each of the 2 years, so the total is £3,600. So she has saved £3,600 to buy her share. Well, what is her share? They share in the ratio 2 to 3. So 5 parts equals 8 grand. 1 part is 8,000 divided by 5, okay, which is going to be 1,600. So Anne's 3 parts, so Anne has 3 parts, so 3 times 1,600 is equal to 4,800. Oh, sorry, I've worked out Ben's parts there. Ben's parts is 3 parts, Anne's part is 2 parts, so it's 2 times 1,600, which is equal to 3,200. So Anne has to pay 3,200, but she saved up 3,600. Can she pay all her share using her savings? The answer is yes, with £400 left over. Okay? Okay, question 8. Here are the first 3 terms of a sequence. Which one of the following is the nth term? Well, let's just have a look at the sequence. What are you doing each time? You're adding 4. So the nth term is going to have a 4n in it in some form or another. Try it for n is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. For the first term you want actually 7, so you're going to have to add 3. So the nth term is 4n plus 3. Another way of doing it is just checking that this works. Put 1 in and you get 7, put 2 in you get 11, put 3 in you do get 15. That's definitely the term of the sequence. 8b. The first 3 terms of a different sequence are a, b and c. The rule for working out the next term in the sequence is to add 4 to the previous term and divide by 2. Write down an equation for c in terms of b. Well, a is the first. The second, you know, is equal to b, but also that must be equal to the first term plus 4, then divided by 2. And finally, the third term must equal the second term plus 4 divided by 2. So an equation for c in terms of b, if c is the third term, it's the second term plus 4 divided by 2. Write down an equation for a in terms of b. Well, we know from above that b equals a plus 4 over 2. Write down an equation for a in terms of b. You want a the subject here, so you double both sides. 2b is a plus 4. Then you subtract 4 off both sides, so a is 2b subtract 4. a equals 2b subtract 4. Okay, question 9a. Solve 7x minus 5 is less than 3x minus 1. Okay, think of this as like an equation. Do what you would normally do when solving an equation. X on both sides. Subtract 3x from both sides so that all the x's are together. 7x minus 3x is 4x. You'd have minus 5 is less than minus 1. Then you'd add 5 to both sides. So you get 4x is less than 4. Then you divide both sides by 4 to get x is less than 1. Hence your answer, x less than 1. On the grid, shade the region represented by this. Okay, first of all, what you do in these is firstly, you want to be able to draw your straight line and not worry about the inequality. You want to draw the straight line 2x plus y equals 2. Well, I can't draw anything until it's in the form y is mx plus c, i.e. y the subject of the formula. So therefore, rearranging, you get subtracting 2x off both sides, you get y is minus 2x plus 2. That's in the correct form. M is minus 2, C is 2. So we cross at 2. As we go across 1, we go down 2. As we go across 1, we go down 2. Hence, drawing a straight line through these points here, I get the equation of, I get my line. And it looks something like that. Now that is y equals minus 2x plus 2. Now I wanted to draw 2x plus y is less than 2, i.e. y is less than minus 2x plus 2. So I want the y values that are below this line. So I need to make this a strict inequality by making it a dotted line to show that it must be strictly less than, and also I need to shade everything underneath the line here to show the region in question. Okay, prove that the sum of 5 consecutive integers must end in 0 or 5. Again with these, you need to use algebra, not by testing with numbers. Pick a number n. Consecutive means they're one after each other on the number line. The next number is n plus 1. The next one is n plus 2. The next one is n plus 3. And the last one is n plus 4. If I want to actually add these together, add all of these numbers together, 1n, 2n, 3n, 4n, 5n, I get 5n. 0 plus 1 is 1, plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Now I need to factorize out what goes into 5n and 10. Well, 5 does. 5n divided by 5 is n. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Hence, I've shown that when I add 5 consecutive numbers, this is my answer, and that's a multiple of 5. That's a multiple of 5 because it's 5 times a whole number, so ends in 0 or 5. Question 11. Factorize the following fully. What divides into 10x squared and 15xy? Well, a 5 certainly does, and an x does as well. 10x squared divided by 5x is equal to 2x, and 15xy divided by 5x is a minus 3y. Times it out to check you've got it right, but it is right. The answer is 5x, 2x minus 3y. Simplify the following, multiplication. Okay, well I've got a 3 times a hidden 1 there, which is 3. C times c squared, that's really a c to the 1 times c squared. You add the power, so that's c cubed. D to the 5 times d to the 1 is d to the 5 plus 1 is 6. Here's your answer. Okay, question 12. Simplify fully. Square root of 75 times the square root of 3. When you're multiplying surds, you can just take the square root of the numbers underneath the square root sign multiplied. So that's equal to the square root of 75 times 3, which is equal to the square root of 225, which is equal to 15. You need to know that. The square root of 18 divided by the square root of 2 is the square root of 18 divided by 2, which is the square root of 9, and the answer to that is 3, hence the answer is 3. Here's an identity question, because it's got 3 lines here, that means identical to. The way I said it's best to try and do these is to multiply out both sides and compare the coefficients of x and the number terms and see for them to be equal, make those coefficients the same. So multiplying out the left hand side first, I would get 3ax plus 2a plus 4bx minus 5b. Okay, and tidying that up a little, well, how many x's? I've got 3ax plus 4bx, so I've actually got 3a plus 4b x's. I could get that as well by just factorising the x from these two terms, and then I've got the number term 2a minus 5b. Okay, the right hand side is already in the correct form, it's already expanded out. I've got 34x plus, or even subtract, 31. For the left hand side and the right hand side to be equal, the numbers in front of x, the coefficient of x must be the same, and the number terms must be the same. So therefore 3a plus 4b must equal 34, and also at the same time 2a minus 5b must equal negative 31. Equation 1, equation 2. Okay, we've got a pair of simultaneous equations that we're trying to solve. To do this, I usually say it's best to make the coefficient of a, let's say, the same. So multiply that equation by 2, and you would get 6a plus 8b is equal to 68. And multiply that equation by 3, you would get 6a minus 15b is equal to minus 93. And this is new equation 3 and 4. Okay, now why don't I do equation 3, subtract equation 4? That will remove the a. 6a take away 6a is nothing. 8b subtract negative 15b is actually 8b plus 15b, which is 23b. And 68 subtract minus 93 must be equal to 161, because actually it's 68 plus 93, which would be 161. Therefore, what's b? b must be 161 divided by 23. So the answer to this must equal 7. So b is 7. Given that you know b is 7, subtract back into one of the first equations to find a. 3a plus 4 times 7 is 28 is equal to 34. Subtract 28 off both sides. 3a must equal 6. So a must be 2. So a is 2. Check your 2 and 7 work. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 7 is 28. 6 adds 28 is 34. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 7 is 35. 4 take away 35 is negative 31. I definitely got the right answer. Okay, question 14. X is increased by 25%. Y is decreased by 20%. Now the amounts are the same. Express X to Y as a ratio in its simplest form. Okay, so X is increased by 25%, so the decimal multiplier for that would be to multiply X by 1.25X. So X goes to that. Y is decreased by 20%, So the decimal multiplier is to multiply by 0.8, so y goes to 0.8y. The amounts are now the same. You know that 1.25x must equal 0.8y. So trying to remove the decimals here, what could I do to everything here? If I times everything by 4, what would I get? If I times this side by 4, I would get that 5x would equal 3.2y. Still no good, I need to get rid of the decimals here, so I could times by 5, I'll get 25x's must be equal to 16y's. To y must therefore be equal to 25 to 16. Okay, last question, question 15. Solve the simultaneous equations, label them 1 and 2. This one's a quadratic because it's got a squared in it. This one's a linear. Always when doing these, substitution's your best method. So substitute y equals x minus 3 into equation 1. Where you see y in equation 1, remember you had y squared is x plus 3. You're going to substitute in x minus 3 for y. So you're going to put x minus 3 in place of y, and you're going to solve like this. X minus 3 squared means x minus 3 multiplied by x minus 3, and that's equal to x plus 3. Times this out the long way, you get x squared minus 6x plus 9 is equal to x plus 3. You've got a quadratic equation because it's an x squared and an equals, but you can't solve until you make one side equal to 0. So you subtract x off both sides and you subtract 3 off both sides. So you get x squared minus 7x plus 6 is equal to 0. Try and factorise two numbers that times together to give 6 and add up to give negative 7. Well, they would be x minus 1, x minus 6 is 0. So x is 1 is one solution, x is 6 is the other. We have to find y as well. Y is x minus 3, so 1 minus 3 is equal to y is minus 2. And 6 minus 3 gives us y is equal to 3. That's one set of solutions, that's the other set of solutions. Substitute them in and check they work, and in this case they do work, so we've done it correctly. Thank you for listening. I hope you found that useful in your revision.